As a school leader, do you consider the people that work in your school as employees, or do you consider them teammates? Let's talk about that. So welcome back to the Educators Tech and Culture Show. This is Uche and Joku. And today I want to talk to you about teams. Yes, we all know what a team is, typically from sports or any kind of structure where you have multiple people working together to accomplish a goal. However, I want to talk to you about the philosophy of teams coming from a different perspective. So have you ever noticed, if you know anyone who's in the military, especially if they're in the special forces, that they always refer to themselves as teams and not soldiers. So the Navy SEALs are teams. Even in other varying forms of teams across the special forces world, whether it's Green Berets, Delta Force, Rangers, any kind of tactical team, that word team is emphasized. And I wonder why. I mean, I know why, but have you ever wondered why they're called teams and not just soldiers? You might say, okay, yeah, they work in teams, but it's something more than that. And I want to spend a little bit of time talking to you about that. The typical structure of a school, you have the principal, you might have an assistant principal, you might have vice principals, depending where you are, or whatever they're called. You might have a dean, someone who's specifically in charge of behavior or school culture. Then you might have department heads or team leads, English language arts, science, mathematics, social studies. Then you might have grade teams, 9th grade, 10th grade, 1st grade, 2nd grade, middle school team, grade level teams. So you have those structures. But my question is really about the philosophy around how those people, those individuals, those specialists within your school are treated, and how they're actually developed, and how they're assigned tasks to accomplish for the betterment of the school. One of the most awesome things that I remember from my time in the military is that this whole notion of the individual is thrown out the window. Yes, when you need to be an individual and that time arises, then you're trained to do what you need to do as an individual to accomplish a mission or goal, to keep yourself safe, or even to protect your fellow soldier. But however, the structure of the military is really around teams. You have at the lowest level, you have the individual soldier. You're actually trained to function in a squad, and a squad could be anything from 4 or 5 to 8 to 10 soldiers, right? So in that squad, you have a team, and those squads, 4 to 5 squads can make a platoon. So now you have a bigger team. But I want to talk to you about exactly why that's necessary. Within a team, you tend to have specialists, right? You have certain people who are good at certain things, like in a school. You might have the ELA lead, you might have the math lead, you might have those people, or even within the ELA team, you have a 9th grade. Let's say for high school, you have a 9th grade ELA teacher, English language arts, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, right? You have your team there. In some cases, some people might overlap across content within the same department. In the military, the team is structured as such. You have within your team, you have your team leader, but within your team, you have people who have certain specialties. You might have a communications person. You might have one person who is really well versed in as a field medic. If there's an injury or something like that, this person knows what to do. You might have someone who's doing your munitions, somebody who's doing your explosives. You might have somebody who is your like your orientation specialist, the one who really knows how to read the map and move people through the field. But the other thing about it is, everyone has a little bit of skills in those other areas as well. So just because I'm the medic doesn't mean that I might not know how to handle munitions and explosives. Just because I'm doing explosive doesn't mean that if God forbid something happened to my medic, that I can step in and and affect medical aid to those who need it. So everyone has cross-functional skills, but everyone is also trained to be really good at their primary skill. Why is this important? Because when a team has a goal to accomplish, a mission to accomplish, you want to make sure that if for any reason something happens to any of those team members, the mission is never in jeopardy. And if there is, it gets to that point where it may be in jeopardy, there's still a high level of certainty that the mission can still be accomplished because everyone is well skilled at, skilled enough to be able to conduct the role of someone else in the team. Why is that important in school? Within a school, I've always believed that it was very important that I always acknowledge as the principal. If something would happen to me and I was no longer here, are the people around me skilled enough to support each other in their roles or even move up in roles to be able to keep the school moving forward or keep the community moving forward? This is something that often we fail to implement. We have individuals who are so holding on to their one skill, and they become a one-trick pony, that what ends up happening is if someone is not there, all of a sudden that department falls apart. Or even worse, people become so selfish that it's not even about the team anymore. It's because they're really individuals. It's my classroom, my content, and I don't do anything else beyond that. I'm not saying that an ELA teacher or English language arts teacher must know what the pre-calculus teacher is doing, because that's not the same content. But within the English department, the 9th, 10th, 11th grade teachers, the first, second, third grade teachers should have cross-functional understanding of the content, so that there's a clear articulation and they can support each other in that movement. Schools fail when you have one person, that one person only specializes in that one grade in a department. School fails when you only have one assistant principal who really knows how to do this one thing. So if they're not there, everybody else panics. School fails when the principal is the only one who is the only one who understands the budget or only understands this particular curriculum or this particular program. Because if the principal is removed or God forbid something happens to that principal, all of a sudden everyone's freaking out. And this is why I've seen so many schools go through so much change year after year, because one piece moves to the left or to the right and everyone is running for the hills in chaos and confusion. As a school leader, it's very important that you commit time to the structure of your team. Your school is a team, and everyone understands what the full vision is and what their part is in that. But also, you're training them to be able to step up in case one day they're called upon to fulfill a role of a team member who's no longer there. It might be permanent, it might be temporary, but it creates a sense of communal security, knowing that we got each other. No matter what, we're going to keep moving forward. So again, I'm asking you, within your school, do you just have employees, people who are just there to do their one role, their job, and that's it? Or do you have teams? Do you have a true team culture where it's not just a team where we're clapping for each other and patting each other on the back saying you did a good job? But no, I understand what you're doing, and I can support you. You can support me for the sake of accomplishing our mission and vision as a school. So I want to share that with you today, because it's something that came into my mind in a conversation I was having with a friend of mine about the military and how there's structures in the military that often don't really exist in the real world. At least they don't really exist on a regular basis, that are actually very intelligent and very smart, and we can learn something from there. I'll be honest with you, I wish I could take a team of teachers or even school administrators to let's say a week-long military boot camp type training just around leadership, so they can see how important teams are. All right, thank you so much for spending time with me and allowing me to pour into you something to think about. And I'll talk to y'all later, okay? Peace.